So I have a page and a half of notes.
Well, let's actually say what we did first. Welcome to the podcast, by the way.
Welcome to Wasteful Thinking. Today will be dominated by the utter tragedy that me and Josh Franz just had to endure in our lives. It was 93 minutes, but it felt like 93 fucking decades. And it's something that I hope everyone else has to go through in the rest of their life, because everyone deserves to put themselves in this position.
Dude, that's fucked up. You're
No,
fucked up for saying
no,
that. No one should ever have to go through what we just went through.
No, everyone should literally sit down and watch this movie and pay close attention.
I think it'll give them perspective.
Please, if you want to, okay, these are the parameters. If you want to just go through how me and Josh went through, just sit down and watch the movie. If you want to enjoy yourself and laugh your fucking balls off, maybe drink a little bit or smoke something that'll get your fucking funny bones jumping.
But wait,
But
what's the movie that we just watched
movie
first?
is Rollerblade 7.
We've got to give it some background.
Directed and produced by Donald Jackson.
Donald G. Jackson.
Oh.
He makes very specifically to mention the G part, and he's really happy about that.
All right, and Scott Shaw was the main character, played Hawk,
Oh,
and
yeah, he did.
nothing else about this movie I really want to think about.
It was made in 1991, according to
It
IMDb.
looked like it was shot in 1891.
Yeah, the camera. All right, we don't want to get too off track. We got some things to focus on, but has a 2.1 on IMDb out of 10. It's got. It's rated action sci-fi. I don't know what part of that was science fiction. By the way,
There wasn't a single science or fiction thing in there.
They rollerblade around. I mean, what's science fiction about that? Yeah, so Donald G.
Oh,
Jackson.
maybe it's fucking spoilers for a 30-year-old movie nobody's ever seen. But at one point, I'm going to give you the climax immediately. After about 80 minutes of just nothing, Hawk and his friend Stella Speed are trapped in prison. And these 5 guys are walking into the cell. They're about to kill him. And it just does this really weird strobe light effect for probably 5, maybe 6 minutes. And it plays the same 10-second clip on loop for probably 6 minutes. And then this guy who was only in the first minute of the movie, his name is Father Donaldo. He's master of the light.
He's supposed to be a main character, by the way. He's literally... Actually, he's pretty far down. He's not even up on the top list of being billed. Okay, I don't know.
He just starts waving his hands around on like halfway across the world, and it just keeps cutting back to the same clip repeating with strobe lights, and him moving around his hands in this fucking weird Doctor Strange motion. And then all of a sudden, after 7 minutes of this, all the bad guys, it just like jump cuts, and all the bad guys are sitting in a corner dead. And Hawk and Stella look around and go, and then they just walk out. And then it jump cuts again to them halfway across the world, and they're getting married.
Let's talk about something first. How many fucking times did they say, in the movie?
God. I wrote
Why?
it down at least 5 times.
Every
Every time someone would say, this movie was not scripted. Like, that's what it was built upon. There was no script
We'll talk
used.
more later about what that... There's actually a word for that. It's called Zen filmmaking. It's stupid. It's honestly fucking stupid.
Anyway,
back
so
to the
they don't
things.
use a script. So anytime someone said something to Scott Shaw, who played the main character Hawk, it would take him about 3 seconds. He would just look around, then he'd just go,
He literally has the IQ of a 5-year-old.
Not when it comes to martial arts.
No.
He's literally a 7th degree
We'll
black
get back.
belt.
We'll get to his martial arts later on, but like the whole thing, you're absolutely right. He literally could not say a single fucking thing. He couldn't reply to any kind of question. Father Donaldo was like, "Hey Hawk, do you want to go save Sister Sparrow?" It's like
No.
he's so fucking
At
indecisive.
one point, he's like, you have to go save your sister. And hold on, let me find the note. Said, you have to go save your sister. You must rescue her. And then you just went, why?
Oh,
you
that
went,
part.
why?
So, okay, I actually wrote some stuff for that scene, too. So at first I said Hawk's a pussy because he didn't want to go save her. He was just like, why? And then he said, well, what's in it for me? So I put that Hawk was a dickhead, but I crossed out dickhead. And then he said this. He said, year of something bride, or Oh,
No.
he said, "I'll get you a bride if you save her." And then Hawk says, "Well, I guess I've gone a year or more without a bride, so why not? I'm due
No,
for one."
okay,
He's like, I'm fucking due for a woman.
Says, "What's in it for me? You will get a bride." And then he said, "I haven't had one of those for a year or more." All right, I'll go do it.
He's okay. He became a fucking awesome dude. He was a piece of shit, and he was a pussy, and then he became an awesome man, like within the span of 5 minutes.
Okay, so then
How cool is he?
there was. Have you ever seen the movie Ex Machina?
No, I'm gonna watch it
Okay,
though. Yeah.
there's a scene in Ex Machina. Oh fuck, I can't tell you. It's gonna spoil it. For
Damn
you.
it.
Okay, let's just say at the end of Ex Machina,
No.
somebody is literally just walking around for probably 5 or 6 minutes.
Okay.
I had a class where we were reviewing sci-fi films and stuff, and this movie was one of the movies we are reviewing as a class.
Woman?
No, Ex Machina.
Okay, alright.
And I gave Ex Machina 9.5. And one of my only like negatives for it was there's literally 5 or 6 minutes at the end of the movie where somebody is just walking. That's it. Walking in different spots. And I thought that was annoying. I was like, you guys could have cut this movie about 5.5 minutes ago. It would have had way more of an impact instead of just walking. Okay? But this movie was... There was one scene where it was when they introduced Hawk. It was him walking up a staircase
Yeah.
for about 7 minutes.
It was the entirety of like a long song. It was like this drum beat in the background that was going on for like 10 minutes. That was the whole thing. It was like someplace in LA or something, and it's just literally him walking up a flight of stairs. That's it.
For 7 fucking minutes.
I mean, just this movie's got a horrible problem with pacing in general. Don't get me wrong. I mean, like the pacing is just fucking egregious. There's that one scene later on where they have like 20 seconds of a fight scene and they make it like 10 minutes long. But we'll get into that later on. But like the walking scene was ridiculous. I wrote in my notes, Hawk walking scene is so fucking boring. But the song's alright though. I like the beat, the Neil Peart drum beat backing track.
So then there's a couple fight scenes in the movie, and they're really bad. But you could tell Hawk is like actually like a really good martial artist in real life,
Yeah.
Scott Shaw.
Let me get
Because
this
like
up.
scenes where like he's actually like fighting, like punching and kicking and stuff, his punches and kicks actually look like fucking good form, and like they look powerful and shit. Like those look good. Everything else is fucking horrible. But anyway, every fight scene, the fight scenes themselves probably took 20 seconds to film. Okay, oh my god.
You can't even.
Let's just
think
put it
right
this
now.
way.
Yeah.
At one point, there was Hawk was trying to rescue Sister Sparrow, and it was like went to Hawk. It showed Hawk doing these weird moves, like 100 feet away from him, like looking at him,
Just flipping his knife around in his hands
flipping
for
his
like
knife.
5 minutes.
And then it showed a camera, and it zoomed in on one of the 5 people, and then it did the exact same zoom clip again right after, and then
Yeah.
it showed Hawk flipping his knife up and down again. Literally, I'm not saying like he was doing the same thing as before. I mean, it was literally the same fucking scene. They just took it, cut it, and pasted
Yeah.
it right here. So then the camera goes back to the other bad guy, whatever the fuck they were, and it zoomed in on one of the other guys, and then did the exact same thing again to that fucking guy.
Yeah.
Went back. Hawk flips his fucking thing around for the 3rd straight time. And then it focused on a different person. And then redid the zoom. Hawk was fucking flipping and shit. And then all of a sudden, it goes to Sister Sparrow with the gang. And she's just sitting there. She has a knife in her mouth for no reason. It just randomly appeared in her fucking mouth. She turns around and in super slow-mo, literally like...
Just like licks his throat
with the
and
knife.
like kills him.
Yeah, and it kills him. And it redoes that 4 times, like in a row.
Yeah.
And then it shows Hawk kicking somebody. It shows Hawk kicking that guy the 3-time fucking loop thing. And then it goes back to Sister Sparrow doing the same scene that it already played 4 fucking times, doing it again.
Yeah.
It was literally... And then there was so much more. I can't fucking go into it in the same scene. And it just... Basically, it was one 30-second scene that was dragged out for about 8 minutes and just had nothing but repeating one clip for like a minute straight, and then going back to repeat a different one. It was mind-boggling how they thought this was a good idea.
Did anybody watch the scene and think, like, this really gets our point across? Like, this guy's gonna die, this guy gets kicked, so we're gonna show that.
By the way,
30,000
this is another
times.
thing. Hawk kicks the shit out of people. I don't mean, like, beats the shit out of people. I mean, he literally just fucking times, and every kick, it'll do the loop thing again, but Scott Shaw loves his fucking kick. Times it repeated his kicking was like 7 times. The other ones, it would clip him like 3 or 4 times, which is 3 or 4 times. Every fucking Hawk kick would happen probably 67 fucking times.
We're gonna have a fucking field day with all this, but I want to finish this discussion with the fucking movie. So, like, that scene, Scott Shaw kicks about a fucking million times. But the weird thing about him is that it actually looks pretty good. Like, of all the things in that movie, the music isn't that bad, actually, and his kicks are actually pretty sweet.
The music's not bad, but they play music throughout the entire movie.
It's
There's
like a musical.
no non-music going out through the movie, and the dialogue is at about a 3, and the music's at a fucking 75.
My TV was actually rattling because the music was so fucking loud.
You couldn't hear... I don't understand the plot anyway, but you couldn't fucking hear what they were trying to say because the music was going
the whole time
for 93 minutes. It was stupendous.
It was like
marvelous.
It's like they walk into a studio, some dude's practicing like his drum fills on his set. That's what they recorded for like 3 hours, and that's the backing track for the whole movie.
Here's another note that I have. The first fight, 2 people are dead, and Hawk literally didn't touch him. They just fell over and died.
He like stabbed the first person really slow, by the way. Like, he just slowly like licked their neck again. I think he actually does stab the third person, but the second chick though just falls over. Like, he never even looked at her, and she just dies.
And it loves Hawk's slow motion karate walking. He does karate while he walks.
Yeah, he does. He's doing like, ever seen It's Always Sunny in
Philadelphia? Yeah, does the Mac
It's like
thing.
the Mac stuff. He's just kind of punching the air as he's walking along. But every single time Hawk's on screen and he's walking down to fight people, they play like that. It's like his theme song. It's that really weird, like 80s non-copyrighted weird stuff. I don't know, dude. Okay, how about this? This is a note that I wrote down here. Is that, okay, what happened? Because we just read that this thing was part sci-fi. Remember that scene where he had his bike and he's before he got to the wheel zone?
Oh, God.
Like, he pulls up on a motorcycle, which he rides again at the end of the movie, too, but he's on a motorcycle.
Can I pause it for a second?
Go ahead.
If it sounds like we're talking, like, crazy shit and, like, we're not explaining the summary of the plot or anything, it's because there is no fucking plot. Just random things happen. So I literally can't even try to explain to you what the whole, like, what the arc of the movie is. Basically, this is it. Father Donaldo, the Order of the Light, tells Hawk, go rescue Stella. He says, okay, you have to go...
Sister Sparrow,
whatever.
He gives Stella Speed the sword at the beginning and tells her to fuck off. I don't even know what she does with that, but you're right. He tells Hawk to go save Sister Sparrow.
And then he has to go into the wheel zone. And the wheel zone,
They never explain what the wheel zone is.
No, it's just people wheeling around. It's like fucking... It's like Compton. It's just with people riding around on rollerblades.
It's the United States of America.
Yeah, the United States. Fucking Pharaoh.
We'll get to that later on.
Okay. But when he goes into the wheel zone, he drives his motorcycle for 5 minutes just with his theme song on in the background. And then he pulls up to this bar, and he's like, oh, I have to leave my bike here in the wheel zone before we get to the wheel zone. So he gets off his bike and then just walks into the wheel zone. And he literally could have... There was so much goddamn room for him to literally just walk the bike past the bar, and then he could have had that instead of riding on rollerblades.
Or running for half the movie. He could have had his sword out, motorbiked into people, saw them in half with his katana. And there's some Officer Rhonda Skates, whatever the fuck it was.
Oh, God.
She's talking to some kind of Elvis-looking motherfucker. He's saying, I gotta get my friends, or... Actually, we have no idea, because that was probably the worst scene to actually hear dialogue. The music was so oppressively loud, you couldn't even hear a damn thing. But she was not a bad-looking woman. That's actually a plus for the movie. If you're a straight man, there's some good women to look at in this movie. There's some nice women. Officer Rhonda Skates, or whatever the fuck her name was. Rhonda Sykes.
Although, I think that's the actress's name. That's another weird thing, is that every time a new actor would come on the screen, it would stop the movie, a black screen would come over, it would say, like, Joe Estevez.
That was kind of sick, actually, though. I thought it was kind of cool.
It felt like a fucking video game.
It was cool in a stupid way, but...
Okay, but explain what Rhonda Sykes does.
So Rhonda Sykes is, I guess she's like the officer, the protector of the wheel zone or something.
Sexually harasses this man.
So basically, this one guy walks up to her and he just says, "Hey, I'm trying to find my friends." He's looking for like Buddy Holly or something like that. I don't know. He looks like he's Elvis though. He's looking for his friends, and she just keeps poking him with her little metal stick and everything. After about 5 minutes of this non-dialogue, you can't hear a fucking thing. She puts him on the ground and rides him like a fucking donkey. And then Hawk shows up out of nowhere and just walks up there. He's just like,
Yeah, and then he just walks away. And she was never in the rest of the movie.
No.
She was the second person to get like a name call. And then she just wasn't in the fucking movie after that. She literally didn't have a second of fucking screen time after that. It brought her up like she was going to be this huge character.
She's like the guardian of the wheel zone or something.
And then that fucking...
my God.
Fucking Elvis, Buddy Holly, whatever the fuck that was. Looked like Joe Pesci.
He did, yeah.
Then he starts talking to this random guy.
Oh, his scene later on is so funny.
He's talking to this...
It's the Desert Marauder. That's what the Desert Fox Marauder. That's his name. I wish I didn't know that.
The Desert Fox Marauder is this guy. He's in like half the movie, yet he doesn't say a single thing that makes any sense, and he doesn't advance the plot at all. He just sits out there. He's wearing a nice sport coat blazer with a nice like shirt underneath, and then below that he's wearing red short shorts,
knee pads,
and then below that knee pads.
But no rollerblades though. He's never wearing rollerblades. He's just dancing around in the fucking desert like he's on LSD.
He literally just dances.
That's all he does. And the Elvis dude later on is just like, "Hey man, do you know where Buddy Holly is?" And he's just doing this weird fucking like yoga dance thing, and he's just like,
yeah, and then
I don't know what you speak of. Then later on, though, he just makes fun of the dude. He's just like, "This fucker's looking for Buddy Holly." It doesn't make any sense to me.
And then the guy who was asking where Buddy Holly was starts doing his dances with him. He's like, "Ooh."
Oh yeah, he's just dancing along with him. Okay, so speaking of the Desert Fox Marauder, Stella Speed is this chick in the movie who we don't even know. Eventually, she becomes Hawk's bride. That's at the end of the movie. We're not really sure what her purpose is, but she runs into the Desert Fox Marauder, and the first thing that he says to her when she walks up to him is, "Do you want a piece of candy, little girl?" That's the first line that we hear from this character when he talks to her.
Okay, if you're going to pull out some quotes, I'm going to pull out some quotes.
Okay.
At one point in the beginning, they randomly just start talking about a plane crash. There's no plane in the movie. They're just talking about a plane crash.
Oh, yeah.
And so he says, "A plane crash in the wheel zone? That'll be the day." And then the scene ends.
There's nothing you can say about that.
Okay, let's do another quote. I have about 75 fucking quotes.
Oh, you
wrote
more quotes then? Okay.
I wrote a bunch down. Here's one. Fuck, okay, I can't find it. Where's it? Oh. "She had a sword. Yeah. And she had a great ass."
Oh, that Desert Fox Marauder is the best character in the whole movie.
I wrote "I just don't fucking know" a bunch of times throughout this. Okay, then there was a scene where this guy walks up to... It's the sign outside this building says "psychic or not."
Oh,
and this part literally
literally
didn't advance the plot at all, too. So he walks in and he goes, "Psychic?" Looks at her and she goes, "I'm not." Oh my god. And then she starts feeding him mushrooms like he's a baby. Literally just starts putting mushrooms in his mouth. He's like sucking on the ends of her fingers, eating mushrooms. And then after like 3 of them, like the camera just starts fucking shaking. And then like he walks around, they start like feeling up these statues.
Yeah, he's copping a feel with them.
He's rubbing these statues' titties, and like they just start making out randomly. They just start making out, and then halfway through he's making out. Then there's this other guy who's just walking with them, and they don't acknowledge his existence.
It's Father
once.
Donaldo,
and he's just walking. Oh, it is.
Yeah, it was literally Father Donaldo.
And then at one scene, like
around.
it just like. It's Hawk sitting there making out with this girl next to Gargoyle, and Father Donaldo sitting next to him. Jump cuts. Hawk sitting there looking at them in the same position Donaldo was while Donaldo's making out with this random person, with the fucking psychic.
Yeah.
And then it switches back, and Hawk's making out with her again, and then they just walk away, and Father Donaldo literally just disappears.
They never mention it. I don't think there's even... Okay, he went there because that one, like, night thing, the Kiyashi fucking whatever night thing, bonks him in the head, and then he goes to the psychic for some reason. They never explain why he goes there. But that scene was so fucking weird. And she force feeds him psychedelics and then takes advantage of him. Like,
Okay, here's another scene.
It's pretty obvious.
Follow the path of the darkness. I don't like the dark. I only rule one thing. It's my own heart.
What scene is that? Who says that?
Remember when he's with the Black Knight?
The fucking Black Knight? Frank Stallone?
What the fuck,
Okay,
man?
the Black Knight. So, like Dylan said before, it sounds like we're talking this out of order and it's not really, doesn't make any sense at all. You're getting an idea of us. Like, this is our experience with it. We're just trying to make sense of it right now. Like, I don't even know how to describe the movie.
This is how I'll explain how horrible the plot is. There's... You know how the whole, like, inciting action of the movie is Sister Sparrow gets taken and Hawk needs to go rescue her, right?
It's the plot.
So Hawk goes to rescue her like 3 times and like they end up just escaping every time for no apparent reason. They literally just start walking away and Hawk doesn't follow them. And then after that, the whole time they're like taking her hostage and like trying to bring her somewhere. And then just halfway through the movie, like they're all just sitting around and they just kill her. And then just leave her there. Like, they go through all this fucking trouble to take a hostage, and then halfway through the movie, like, there's no dialogue or anything. For the last probably 45 minutes of the movie, there's probably 5 sentences spoken.
Yeah, no, you're right, actually. It's horribly boring, the last, like,
And then,
half of it.
So, yeah, they just kill her. And then when they kill her, like, they take off, like, her armor or whatever. She's wearing, like, this nun suit. And underneath her nun suit is just lingerie. How? Why? Why?
That was a costume choice. They chose to put her in that. Well, let's talk about the outfit. Stella Speed is like Hawk's whatever. She's wearing this like one-piece swimsuit that basically sucks right up her camel toe pretty much. I mean, okay, we gotta be honest though. She looks pretty good in it.
Yeah, she's not bad looking.
She's not bad looking at all. She's got a great ass.
And then there's this clown
that
has these
fucking
2
clown.
They're not even pretending they're baseball bats. They're 2 wiffle ball bats. And he runs around and he's trying to look like Sonic the Hedgehog's legs. Like, he's literally just spinning his arms forward all the way around and rollerblading. And then, like, he was one of the main villains for the first half hour. And then, like, after Hawk kills him, he comes back to life. And then he's with Hawk and Stella. And then... What the fuck was that?
That was because you said Sonic. I had a soundboard ready.
You're fucking...
Should I not do that again?
No, never ever do that again.
Wait, can I do one more thing?
Go ahead.
Oh.
What the fuck was that?
Oh. I'm missing. Hold on. It's the Roblox thing when you take damage in Roblox.
I've never played Roblox. Okay, turn it off. Ben Shapiro fucking Thug Life compilation.
I'm done.
Now I don't remember.
Ben Shapiro,
no,
Rex Libtard.
The clown.
Okay, the clown.
The clown died in this movie about 5 times, and then it just randomly like pops up back to life and follows him.
Okay, you know who else was the clown person though? The fucking banjo player. The banjo. There's this asshole. Okay, has anybody seen Mad Max Fury Road?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, well I guess I'm talking. I said everybody, but we're here. You know the guy who's playing the electric guitar on the car? It's like really sick actually. It's kind of awesome. This is basically that. It came like 10 years or like 20 years earlier, but it's fucking garbage because like...
It's basically the Mad Max guitar guy.
Yeah.
That's like the pinnacle of how cool you can look doing that. And this is the very opposite end of the spectrum.
So we have a
This is
spectrum.
the absolute worst.
This is your 0. Mad Max guitar guy's 10.
He
so
dressed up like the fucking Phantom of Opera.
Yeah, he had like a little
rollerblading
top
around.
hat on.
He had pre-wrap all over his face with sunglasses. Like, there's no way you could have seen through the wrap. Yet he had sunglasses on in case the light was too bright or some shit. And he was in the movie for about half an hour straight just fucking playing the banjo.
The banjo song is
and then
the worst thing in the
about
world.
Half an hour after like he's introduced and just playing that fucking stupid banjo, Josh was sitting behind me. He was like, dude, I hate this fucking banjo. And as soon as he says that, Hawk just goes, I hate the banjo. Yeah. And then he just walks up and cuts the dude fucking throat.
That was somebody else who rolls up. Like, literally, Hawk says, I hate the banjo.
Was that Utility Ninja?
Yes. Oh, my God. My favorite character of the whole movie was Utility Ninja. Like, literally, this person rolls up, kills the banjo dude, and then Hawk just stabs him and just kills him instantly, and then it just flashes a character screen, says utility ninja, and then he's already dead, so it doesn't even matter.
He was literally in the movie for about
what makes
45 seconds.
What makes him a utility ninja? Like, does he have like a belt of like a screwdriver and like a hammer? He can go like fix your plumbing and stuff. He's like a handyman.
I think the utility is just getting that banjo piece of shit out of the
was
movie.
the utility. The movie literally has that banjo song about 10 times in it. Stella Speed, I guess, loves it because she always smiles and just kind of like nods at him. The movie ends with all the character cards being flashed again, and that fucking banjo song is like oppressively loud. Like, we were sitting here watching it, we couldn't wait to turn it off. It was actually torture. Like, the movie itself was torture, but that was actual torture. Like, we were in a building with hostages and the CIA is trying to flush us out. That's what they would play. That fucking banjo song. You know, we both stopped writing notes about 15 minutes in, so everything we've said that we have notes for was the first 15 minutes. We could have probably written an entire essay about this.
I could have wrote my fucking doctoral dissertation on why this is the greatest movie of all time. Did you enjoy... would you classify this movie as so bad it's good, or so bad it can't possibly be good? Because it's even worse than so bad it's good.
It's so bad that it can't possibly be good.
This movie makes The Room look like The Departed. Huh?
I have one more soundboard. Just one more, actually.
Play your soundboard.
It's relevant. This one's actually relevant.
I did not hit her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Just because...
Yeah, that scene had better acting in it than...
Credit to The Room, honestly. Like, it has... It's a shitty fucking movie, but... It has actual camera angles.
And plot.
It has a fucking plot. It has actual characters so you can hear them. Like, they talk and you can hear what they're saying.
It doesn't zoom in to where you can see the people's pores and their fucking face. It zooms in so much every time they try to say a word that you can't hear.
You've got to hit a threshold. If you're a shitty movie, you've got to at least be, like, a movie. You've got to be at least good enough to be a movie. Beyond that, though... I don't know. I don't, honestly... Okay. We're going to move on a bit from the movie, but I want to talk a little bit about Scott Shaw. Scott Shaw is honestly fucking insane. This is from his Wikipedia page. So Scott Shaw, this is like what his description is. He's born September 23rd, 1958. He is an American author, martial artist, and filmmaker. He has the perfect trifecta of skill.
Yeah, if you see that for a random person, like, wow, that person's accomplished.
Yeah, you would say he's accomplished, but...
He's basically Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's the exact same.
That's actually a really good point. Joe Rogan... So what separates Joe Rogan and Scott Shaw? You know what separates the two of them? That. Look at that man right there. We're looking at a picture of Scott Shaw. He looks like a train wreck.
Scott Shaw looks like... Dude, I can't even begin to explain it.
He got kicked in the face too many times.
He looks like Katherine Heigl if she was an overweight, bearded man.
I actually see what you're saying, yeah. Look at that hair. Like, in the movie, he's wearing sunglasses, so he looks like he looks kind of cool.
He doesn't take off the sunglasses for a second.
Never.
He has them on the entire movie. He's sitting there getting his ass kicked, kicking people's ass. No matter what, the sunglasses just stay perfect on his fucking face the whole time.
But he actually looks kind of awesome at the same time.
He definitely fucks, that's for sure.
Picture a person you'd see walking around your local mall wearing all black with long hair and sunglasses on. You'd think that person would probably pull out a gun and shoot the whole mall up. You'd be right. That's this person we're describing right now. But in the context of the movie, it's actually kind of awesome. Oh my god, look at him right there.
Okay, go back to his Wikipedia page.
Alright. Because we can't show the people the picture, so it's not going to work. Alright. So, I'm just going to read a bit of his career right here. So Shaw has had a career in both the arts and sciences. He first became noticed as an author when his poetry and literary fiction began to be published in the late 70s. So basically, 1991 is when this movie came out, so he would have been... What? He would have been like 12 to fucking 22.
What do you mean?
Because he was born in 58, so in the 70s, he would have been at a minimum 12 and at a maximum of 22 years old in the 70s. The dude published poems and literary fiction when he was fucking like 18 or something. It's actually kind of sick. He also in the 80s. Then he started to begin publishing stuff on anthropology and social sciences. Though his writings have spanned many generations or genres, Shaw is most well known as an author on the subject of martial arts. So, over 300 articles on martial arts have been published. Like, what the fuck? 300 articles on martial arts?
Yeah, who the fuck does he think he is? He makes this thing, which is basically 9/11 in cinema. And yet, apparently this guy's a fucking baller. It doesn't make any
Look
sense.
at this. He's literally a 7th degree black belt in Muay Kwan Taekwondo.
This would be like if Shaq was also Jack the Ripper. That's basically what this is.
Yeah, basically. How could a dude who literally has a 7th degree black belt in Taekwondo make such a shitty martial arts movie?
By the age of 18, he was a certified instructor of Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga. That explains a lot, actually.
Oh, okay.
Because you were saying they're doing weird yoga dancing thing shit.
Yeah.
They were.
They were doing weird yoga dancing shit.
Scott Shaw was also credited as the sword master and martial artist of the movie.
He's the fucking sword master. The sword fighting looks like shit. Scott Shaw, you didn't do a good job. I'm sorry. If you were the sword fighting master, everyone looks super awkward. And you should have probably watched a couple of Bruce Lee movies before you did this.
I actually love Scott Shaw, though.
You did?
Like, I'm actually really happy he made this movie.
Alright. I guess we're making fun of him because we care.
Yeah, no, that's exactly
It's not because we hate
You
him.
tease the ones that you love.
Yeah, I do love him.
I'm so glad that I found out who this man was. It's absolutely unbelievable.
Well, we also actually think we know his email address too and his phone number because we looked him up at the at a computer at work, which is totally legal. We're allowed to do that. It's within our power.
We were just fucking around and we were like, you think Scott Shaw has a Regal card? So we just type in Scott Shaw into the fucking the thing to like you look up to see like people's cards if they didn't bring theirs, and sure enough it said Scott Shaw and it said an email that was like Zen Film Foundation or something like that, which is his movie production studio.
Yeah,
and we didn't know that at the time. We were like, it says films at whatever
it was like
zen.com.
zen.films@yahoo.com, I think it was.
Yeah, so we were like, that, I mean, it's film, so maybe, but probably not. And then we found out he's the master of this Zen filmmaking.
Which, so that's a great
Mumbo
segue.
jumbo.
So fucking here's Zen filmmaking. Okay, Zen filmmaking is a new style that he developed in 1991. This might have been the first time he used this, actually.
I hope so.
This movie. So, this style of filmmaking is defined by the fact that no screenplay is used in the creation of the film. So this is a quote, I think, from their website. In Zen filmmaking, the spontaneous creative energy of the filmmaker is the only defining factor. This allows for a spiritually pure source of immediate inspiration to be the only guide in the filmmaking process. He wrote a book about it in 2008 called Zen Filmmaking. So this makes a lot of sense, right?
Way too much sense.
Fucking Zen filmmaking is literally, this is their website, by the way, too. Zen filmmaking is literally just like you walk onto the set, there's nothing planned at all. You just basically, the director, who unfortunately was Donald G. Jackson, he basically says, all right, he's like, how about you take your top off and stand over there?
Except there wasn't a lot of that. I figured there's going to be like a lot of titties in this movie.
There is in the second one, actually. It's like a whole scene of just... They probably, after this was done, Scott Shaw was like, hey, Donald, so by the way, great movie and everything, but we need more tits. Like, we need at least 10,000 more women. They have to all be topless. I need this. Like, you have to do this for me. He's
a
like,
little bit of backstory on how me and Josh discovered this movie.
Okay.
We watched the second one right after we watched The Room. We watched The Room, and then we watched... This is probably about 7 or 8 months ago. We watched The Room, and then we watched Return of the Rollerblade 7.
You found it somehow. How'd you find out about this?
I don't even remember.
You were really looking up like shitty movies to think, and this just came up somewhere.
Yeah, because it's so hard to find it anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knows about this movie, barely. But, so then, we only watched it for about 20 minutes. We couldn't follow a second of it. So we turned it off, and then we watched Toxic Crusader, I think.
Ugh.
And that movie was kind of sweet. But, so what ended up happening was... we realized in the second movie that the first probably 45 minutes of Return of the Rollerblade 7, which is why we didn't understand it for a second, was recapping the entire first one. So probably the first hour of an hour and 30-minute movie is just this one on fucking fast forward.
Yeah.
And it makes less sense now than it ever has before.
It should make more sense because we understand it, but it actually does make less sense to me for some reason. It's kind of unfucking believable. Alright. So this is the Zen filmmaking website. So it literally says, okay, so yeah, this is where they got the information from, it says here. So, freedom of mind is the pathway to cinematic enlightenment.
I don't know if it is.
Did that make any sense at all either?
Nope, not at all.
They have an interview section. Whoa, wait a second.
Ask Scott Shaw.
What's this? He's wearing the fucking Hawk sunglasses. I like this question. Where were you born? Los Angeles. That's it.
What was your first memory? Wow, good question. Don't let this scare you, but maybe when I was 2 years old, my mother and I were walking down the street, and a guy came up to my mom, hit her, and took her purse. That is scary.
Jesus.
I grew up in a scary place.
What did your father do for a living? Initially, he was a restaurateur. He opened a restaurant near USC campus and called it the Trojan Barrel. He sold the restaurant... Okay. Wait. What does this thing say here? Did you ever go there to the... Oh, whatever. They ask... So he says, I also met great sports personalities like Wilt Chamberlain, Jerry West, Elgin Baylor, Gordon Howe.
Elgin Baylor. Gordie Howe, yeah. These are all like... Gordie Howe's one of the greatest hockey players of all time, and the first three are fucking three of the greatest basketball players.
So then they say, and even people like Bruce Lee, the interviewer says, the Bruce Lee? Yup. And that's it. That's his answer. Wow.
This man, you think he fucks? He must. Me and Josh came up with a theory, and our theory was that the Rollerblade 7, the movie, was made so that Scott Shaw could literally just offer these random women, like, movie deals, and then you would just fuck the shit out of them, and then make just a shitty movie. And I think that that's exactly what he was doing.
Look at this question here. Did your martial arts training help you when you were growing up? I'm still alive. That's literally his answer. So if he didn't learn martial arts, he probably would be dead, right?
Well, I'm glad that he learned martial arts. It's helped him stay alive and helped me find the greatest movie of all time.
Jesus Christ.
All right, get off his interview.
This is ridiculous.
Get off of it.
All right. I just can't help it. It's so ridiculous.
This man has like just a crazy
Guns of El Chupacabra. Oh my god.
Those are his other three movies.
Wait, this is an interview with them talking.
No. Turn it off.
Can't? Can just see part of it?
But we have to describe what else he does.
We met about a decade ago, and the first film, we started doing the film.
All right. This usually doesn't work very well for the format here. I'll look at that later on.
All right. So,
Okay.
By the way, there's 3 of these movies. This isn't just one bad movie and then it's over with. There's Rollerblade 7, Return of the Rollerblade 7, and then Legend of the Rollerblade 7. Apparently, the first one was so good that they're like, 2 more. Fucking light me up. Let's go. We need more of Hawk and Stella Speed. And who apparently got shot in the end second of the movie randomly, even though no gun was fired. Just somebody drove by holding out a gun. And then it just jump cut to them crashed on their bike on the side of the road dead. And then Hawk just jumps alive. He runs around. Then he pulls out a sword. He's like, "Aah!" And then it ends.
Well, don't even get me started on... Well, I guess I shouldn't get started then, 'cause I forgot what I was going to say. Wait, don't even get me started on them not explaining plots of the movie. Like how all of a sudden Hawk and Stella... Actually, that part makes sense because Father Donaldo did promise Hawk a wife or whatever. So that actually makes sense. That plot line actually came back together at the end, which is great. But all of a sudden, Saint Offender, who, by the way, is literally played by Joe Estevez. Which, yes, that actually is an older brother of Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez.
It's their brother?
I think it's their brother.
It's either their brother or uncle. Yeah, type it in. Let's
Joe
see.
Estevez. Joe Estevez,
younger
brother of actor Martin Sheen.
Okay, so yeah, it's uncle of Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez.
Uncle, gotcha, yeah.
So Charlie Sheen made like Wall Street, Two and a
Platoon.
Half Men, Platoon, all these great
Fucking
movies.
Martin Sheen has been in all kinds of great movies too.
Yep. Emilio Estevez was in Young Guns,
Breakfast Club.
and Breakfast Club, all these great movies. Joe, on the other hand,
He's the reject brother.
he made Rollerblade fucking 7.
He plays a character called Saint Offender, which for some reason is not even capitalized. He's not even like a proper noun. He's just like, it's all lowercase in his title card. So there's multiple Saint Offenders. He's not the only one. No, it doesn't make any sense. That's stupid. The whole thing's stupid. Joe Estevez, not stupid. He's a genius, actually. He's a fucking genius. Because you know what? Think about his brothers. You know, drug abuse, rich, hot wives, successful careers.
Bunch of whores.
What does Joe Estevez have? He's sober. No, he's not. Look at him. He's enjoyed alcohol in his day. Look how happy he is, though. He's doing what he loves doing. Working with Scott Shaw. Him and Scott Shaw actually work together a lot. I think that they're actually kind of like good friends. And can you imagine,
Frank Stallone, too.
like, making dumb movies with like your buddies? That's all they were doing. That's kind of what we're here right now. We're sort of celebrating this movie. We're not ostracizing it at all. We're celebrating this.
No, like, the reason why we're talking about it is we want more people to, like, witness this. Because I want Scott Shaw to come out of retirement and start making movies
And then
again.
be on our podcast.
Scott Shaw, if you're listening, anytime you want to come up to New York and you want to fucking sit down with us and describe your life, we will be more than fucking pleased to have you on.
Oh, it'd be amazing, actually.
This is an invitation to Scott Shaw.
I'm going to rent out a good room for us to be in. I'm going to have it catered. Whatever you'd like. Cheeseburgers, sushi, whores. I'll call up Allison Chase, who played Stella Speed. I'll bring her back in. You guys can hook up if you did or want to.
By the way, explain Allison Chase's career since then.
Oh, so literally, so Allison Chase is the person who plays Stella Speed, the love interest of fucking Hawk from the movie. So I went to Allison Chase's IMDb page, and this is the craziest thing, is that her picture on IMDb is her holding a fucking Emmy. So I'm like, wait a second. This is literally Stella Speed, who we just stared at her ass for the past hour in like that red Speedo thing. She has an Emmy. So I went over to her nominations. I'm not sure what she did, but she literally worked on the teams who did Undercover Boss, The Amazing Race, and also, that's it. Both of those, different years though. So she was literally on those teams, and she got an Emmy for working on those things, for like, for winning like the Outstanding Reality Competition Program. So this chick literally was topless actually at one point, with snakes crawling over her in Pharaoh's like sex dungeon or whatever.
That's another thing.
So yeah, so her career hasn't been that bad.
Pharaoh is the main bad guy throughout the movie, and he's like, I don't know why anyone would hurt you. And this is 30 seconds after he says, send her to the torture dungeon.
He's clearly losing his fucking mind. Like, the camera always zooms in on his face. He's always like, his eyes are fluttering, and looks like he's having a stroke every single time they film him. And it's literally like some old uncle at like a party who just creeps you out and is like always fucking drunk and just like wants all the younger like nephews or nieces to sit on his lap. That was a long explanation.
That was accurate though.
That-
Because he was in a wheelchair because he broke his back.
But he had his feet on a skateboard, though. So he's in a wheelchair, but he had his feet on a skateboard while he's rolling around. And he had that weird dude in, like, the bee suit, like a camo suit. The dude in the camo suit never actually skated around. He just ran everywhere, but he would get on all fours and, like, slink around like a
after
creepy.
just slinking around with, like, a sword and stuff for, like, most of the movie, he just pulls out a fucking Uzi.
Oh, yeah, the Uzi. There's one gun in the entire wheel zone, and somehow this one dude, who I think his name is Stealth or something, I don't know, he has it for some reason. Never actually uses the gun, though. Like, everyone's fighting with wiffle bats and fake swords. What does this guy have? A gun? He should be the ruler of that entire
But
world.
no, Pharaoh is. He's king of the blades. He's king of United Skates of America.
When he said, I actually thought he said United States. I was thinking like, oh shit, is this like in a post-apocalyptic world where the U.S. is whatever? No. It's Pharaoh's fantasy land where he's the fucking king of the skates of America. It's literally unbelievable.
No, it is unbelievable.
Allison Chase, though, good for her. She's actually made some success. I'm proud of her, though. The movies that Scott Shaw's made beyond this, though, it's just going to blow your mind. I'd like to invite anyone to go and explore more of his filmography. So basically, this is what he's known for. So if someone says, hey, what's Scott Shaw done? Scott Shaw can say, hey, look, this is what I'm quote-unquote known for. Rollerblade 7, sure. Samurai Vampire Bikers from Hell. Guns of El Chupacabra. And then Max Hell Frog Warrior. Which that one actually, the last one just came out 16 years ago, which isn't that bad.
I kind of want to watch Max Hell Frog Warrior. I'm not gonna.
It has a
It's
better-
shot. Like,
It's got a better
exactly
rating.
the same
It looks like
way.
the exact same. There's a trailer for it. We'll watch that later. Fucking Donald G. Jackson. He's back, and also he's playing a character called Maximo T. Bird.
Look who else is back.
Scott.
Joe fucking Estevez.
I'm telling you, they've got to be best buddies, dude. Conrad Brooks. Ooh, who's this one? Sandra Porporo. Eh. She kind of looks like that chick from Back to the Future 3.
A little bit. So basically, Zen filmmaking is Scott Shaw, Donald Jackson, and Joe Estevez. They're just these three really coked out fucking cocaine cowboys, and they just make movies.
Cocaine cowboys. Oh yeah, you brought up a good point earlier too about how they're skating around the entire movie, but they're literally in the most empty looking desert you could ever imagine in your life. It's literally like flat land. It's like, you ever seen Holes before? Where they're like just walking through the desert trying to find that mountain so they can like get the peaches or whatever. Like, that's what it was like. They're literally just looking at this like 10-mile long. How the fuck did they get out there?
They're rollerblading in sand too. For
Yeah, it's like in sand. Did they create like? I don't even know. It doesn't make any sense to me. Then they're skating through like drain ducts and stuff. I mean, it looks kind of awesome actually, but it didn't make any fucking sense to me.
It's basically just these weird underpasses in LA that people skateboard around in. And Scott Shaw was like, "Yeah, I see you. I'm gonna make a movie about this. What, skateboarding in an LA underpass? It'd be like a cultural, like counterculture movie. Whatever."
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be samurais on rollerblades that kick people 88 times in the same way. All right, Scott.
Speaking
Alright.
of kicks, actually, I googled Scott Shaw kick, and literally all of his books came out that he's written. So here's one called Hapkido, the Korean Art of Self-Defense. Here's him actually like training in a real.
Gi. He's literally wearing a gi.
I actually. Oh, here we go. Here's him kicking like a Roman centurion.
Look how fucking flexible he is, though. Holy shit.
He's got a good kick though, dude. Like,
No, he has a great kick.
Like, if you posted that picture on like a martial arts forum, not that I would even know what they'd say, but they'd probably say that looks good. 10 out of 10 kick.
Yeah, he should be in the UFC. He should come back and fight against Daniel Cormier.
You think this guy's gonna fight?
Yeah, I do.
Honestly, he would be underestimated so hard based on his weird beardy thing going on
And his hair.
and his hair. He'd end up slaughtering every single UFC fighter. I guarantee it. Like,
Yeah, plus
like Conor McGregor, dude. Fuck Conor McGregor. Scott Shaw.
Plus Scott Shaw. He knows how to use rollerblades. He knows how to use swords. He's
True.
master of the Order of the Light.
Dude, look at him here. He looks just like Hawk. I guarantee he plays the same character. We're looking at a picture of him from Max Hell Frog Warrior. He's literally doing like a flying crane kick, like some fucking karate. No,
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. Thank you. Holy shit, Mortal Kombat. Yeah. Wow. All right. Do you have any closing thoughts on Scott Shaw here?
Yep, I think he's a beautiful man. I think he's probably one of the greatest people in the history of the world. I love his movie, and I would love to hang out with him, maybe grab a drink. But I bet you Scott Shaw doesn't drink. I bet you he takes care of his body.
Oh, I think he does too. It's his wife.
He has a wife?
He's been married since 1989. This dude's better at holding up a relationship than I am. Oh, fuck.
Who, Scott?
Scott, yeah, Scott.
Good man.
Hai Wan Shin. Or Hei Wan Shin.
She's a classical fucking orchestra person?
I think so.
She's a conductor.
I think she is a conductor, actually. No, but it says here that she's a producer and cinematographer. Look at this. It's from Amazon. Just one customer review. Well, what's this like?
Yeah, let's read the customer review.
Terrible waste of time. They didn't even spell the word waste right.
Dude, that was April 3rd.
Holy shit.
this
It's actually
year.
really recently.
Wait, when did this movie come out?
2002, I think. Scott Shaw, Undercover X.
Hollywood, Seoul, Tokyo, one man, one mission, and even he doesn't know what it is. That part doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, that's... Oh, my God. If I had a VHS player, I'd... Oh, no, this is DVD, actually. Why is it... It's called Undercover X VHS, but it's on DVD. It's got Prime shipping, too.
Why is it $25?
No, but it says format VHS tape. What the fuck?
Why is it $25?
Only one left in stock. Dude, it's telling me to order soon. I probably should order soon.
Oh, no, you definitely should, because everybody wants
I
this.
think I have one click.
Look to see when it came out.
Let me see. There's so many tabs open right now.
Yeah, all dedicated to Scott.
Crazy. And
Scott,
and Joe Estevez.
Scott and his fucking gang of
Undercover.
Rollerblade 7.
Probably can find this one online too. Undercover X VHS. I don't even know. I tried as hard as I could.
Hitman City, Scott Shaw, Joe Estevez.
Oh my god, he made so many of these. Alright, you know what? Holy shit, look at him. He looks so cool.
The older he gets, the more pussy he
Oh,
destroys.
Dude, do it again.
Oh, my bad. The older he gets, the more poon he fucking smashes.
Hong Kong never looked so good. This review actually came out in 2003. What the fuck? Do we even have internet back in 2003?
Yeah, mostly just for porn, though.
Yeah,
And
mostly.
4chan.
All right. Yeah, so final thoughts. I think that Scott Shaw, if you're out there and if you're listening to this, if this pops up into your Twitter feed, because I always hashtag Scott Shaw in all of our podcasts, then we both actually really admire your work. And you've pumped out so many movies that you actually make actors like Tom Hanks envious of your filmography. You've literally made like 100 movies, and I respect that. And also published stuff on martial arts, too. And please come to our podcast. Please.
Good man. I would love to hang out with you someday, Scott.
All right. Something I want to talk about on the podcast, actually. You and I typically have a discussion at least every other week about how annoying social justice warriors are.
All right, can we pause it for a second? Just want to get a drink.
Oh,
Just drink
okay.
water.
Yeah, all right. We're going to take a short break. We will resume the podcast after this commercial break.
Wait.
All right, we're back from our commercial break. Break was brought to you by
Water.
Brought to you by water. It's brought to you by
Liberal.
liberals.
I don't think it is brought to you by liberals.
No, all right. I got a great thing to talk to you about right now. So, you hate SJWs, don't you?
I don't hate them, but they piss me right the fuck
You don't hate
off.
them? We've talked about them a lot on the podcast. I figure you'd hate anybody who would fight for social justice.
I don't hate anyone
Oh,
unless you're like a criminal.
okay.
And even then, I don't hate a lot. I hate like rapists and child molesters and stuff like that. Like I don't fucking hate. I view people as individuals, not as their group. So if you're a social justice warrior, then you might annoy me with your like thoughts and stuff and the shit that you do, but you could be a great person. So I'm not gonna hate on a random group of people. The only random group of people I can hate on are people who have horrible actions, like ISIS and fucking like rapists and child molesters. That's
Fair
bad.
enough, man. All right, so here's the topic at hand. So, PAX West is coming up soon.
Is this? I saw this.
You did?
Is this how they have the? It's only for women and non-binary booth.
Yeah. All right. So basically, room 613 at PAX West, which is for Riot Games to talk about game development and their game and everything
What?
like that.
Who? I've heard of Riot Games, but I'm not sure.
They're the
exactly.
people who make League of Legends. That's them.
Oh,
Big
God.
company.
Well,
They've been around
they
for
have
a
a lot
while.
of fucking. A lot of League of Legends people, like they're in some creepy shit.
No, it's true. There's definitely a huge like non-binary community. Anyway, so basically, this one room, from the hours of I think like 12 to 2:30 or 9 to 12:30, whatever. It's like a 3-hour gap in time. Only women and people who are non-binary can go to that for the first 3 hours of time. People on the League subreddit started to complain about how they felt that was being like sexist and it was excluding people. Now, one person who spoke out about it, this guy's name is Daniel Z. Klein. He's like developer at Riot Games. He basically went on this huge fucking Twitter rant a couple days ago about...
Boogie got into an argument with this guy.
Really? Okay, great.
Boogie 2988.
That's awesome. I like Boogie a lot. He's a
I
great
do
guy.
too. He's been going through a lot of shit because he was like, he said, hot take. I think we do need. It's like I love that there's women and non-binary people that are playing a lot of games and being involved in the community and stuff. He's like, I love it. I think, yes, we do need to, like, make sure they feel safe and welcome and they have their safe space or whatever, blah, blah. He's like, but he said there's a way to handle things like this. And by kicking out all men, said that's not how you advance your cause.
Well, listen to some of the stuff that this guy's saying. This guy is like a radical fucking psycho. I'll show you a picture of him next, and you're going to completely agree with me that this dude is your quintessential, like, nice guy thing on the subreddit. Like
White
Reddit.
Knight?
Yeah. He is your literal, like, he looks just like one. He's your typical, like, oh, I love and respect women just so they can fuck him. Like, that's literally exactly. So here's what he said. So he said that this Reddit thread, meaning the one that he mentioned about the League of Legends thing, that they were talking about how they were upset. He said that this thread about some event we're hosting at PAX being open to women and non-binary people only was just as much of a toxic landfill as I expected it to be. So he responds by saying this. The most commonly thrown around arguments are that this is being sexist against men, just like racism, and that you can't fix a problem by doing the opposite of what that problem is. Cool. That's all bullshit.
Wait, that's his whole argument?
He goes into more, but that's what he says to start. So he basically says, hey, I hear your argument. Yeah, fuck your argument. That's basically what he says. So he says here, systemic sexism and racism exist at the intersection of bigotry and power dynamics. You probably got that from like a Wikipedia article about it. It's just that doesn't sound like
got
it's its
from
own words.
Cosmo.
Probably. Racism isn't just being called the N-word, it's that no one caring when you protest and not being given a loan a white person could have gotten and being shot by the police for no reason. So he's basically just pulling
regurgitating random fucking
Yeah.
SJW groupthink. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically, alright, so he goes on and says, the reason that sexism against men makes no sense as a concept is that men have the power, which I hate that statement so much when I hear that. I really don't like that. They're privileged in so many ways, from small invisible things to large outrageous things. Like a confessed abuser and harasser like Louis C.K. can just have a comeback and no one cares.
Okay.
Let's,
two arguments with the whole Louis thing, because I wanted to talk to you about this Louis thing.
Yeah, definitely.
Did you hear about Louis? What
Absolutely.
happened to him?
Me and my dad talk about him a lot because we both love him.
I fucking love him.
He's hilarious. I love his show, Louis. That was on FX.
Well, did you hear about what he got in trouble for?
Yeah, but you
okay,
go ahead.
Basically, Louis got in trouble for asking women if he could just jerk off.
Yes, absolutely.
That was it. He didn't touch them. He didn't rape anyone. And if any of them said no, which a couple of them did, he said, "Okay, I'm sorry." And they would call him or text him and they'd say, "I'm sorry about what happened.
Yeah.
Just I'm a little messed up," and said, "I'm sorry about that."
It's a weird thing to do, to be fair, but
it is weird, but it's not like he's. But the few people who said yes or whatever that I did do in front of said that they felt like they had to because of his power over them. He had no power over them. You know why I know he had no power over them? Because the ones that said no, he just said, "Okay, I'm sorry. You can leave if you want." And then they fucking left. He didn't stuff them in a broom closet. And this is another thing. Is it a little... I don't know. Like, the fact that he showed up as a surprise guest and, like, nobody had the idea that, like, he was going to be there, that's a little fucked up. I mean, it's not fucked up if, like, you're Bill Burr or something and you just pop in and everyone's like, "Yeah, Bill Burr's here. Yeah, whatever." It's a little fucked up when you haven't done a single fucking joke in 9 months in public and you're showing up at this random comedy club and nobody had a chance whether or not they could say that they want to see you or not. But you can go out and take a smoke break for 15 minutes and then come back and he won't be there. And you know, I know that people wanted to see him there because as soon as he walked up on the stage to start, he got a standing ovation from the crowd.
Yeah. People like Louis
What
C.K.
do you want him to do?
Yeah.
What do you want
his whole career to
he
be
goes
ruined
out
forever.
to a standing ovation and then he's like, they don't like me at the Huffington Post, so I guess I'm not going to do comedy anymore. You can't fucking stop Louis C.K. And here's why. And you shouldn't be able to stop Louis C.K. Because he has a skill set where he could walk down the street and then just start talking out loud. And people would huddle up around him to listen to what he has to say and laugh. He can do that anywhere he fucking wants. Yeah. He can do it in Madison Square Garden, or he can fucking do it in a cornfield with a megaphone. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. You're not going to stop him from doing what he wants. And you shouldn't want to stop him. I get it if you're saying he hasn't apologized enough, he hasn't done anything. Well, what the fuck should he do? Instead of just saying that he should never have a job again, he hasn't been punished enough. Hasn't been punished enough. He lost his movie deal and his movie that they already fucking spent all the money on making. Mm-hmm. He lost his TV show. He lost his distributors, and he lost his Netflix contract.
Yeah.
That's a lot to lose. And you know what else he lost? His fucking teenage daughters now have to, whenever someone says, "Oh, your dad's Louis C.K."
Yeah.
They have to.
Oh, isn't he the one who abused people? That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. Now,
what do they say? No, he just kind of jerked off on people, and it was sort of weird. I mean, maybe they didn't even know about that part of his life.
And that's another thing. People are conflating like Louis with like
Weinstein.
They're like these bad people like Harvey Weinstein and fucking Kevin Spacey and Louis C.K. It's like, how can you get from someone like Harvey Weinstein who would literally rape people?
Yeah. And
fucking like if they didn't suck his cock, like he would tell everyone else to never hire them again under any circumstance.
Yeah.
How can you equate them to Louis C.K.?
Which, by the way, like rape is a felony. Jerking off on somebody who gave you consent is just weird.
Yeah, that's just really weird.
But
that's all that is.
So I completely agree with you. So the fact that that should give you an idea already. This guy's using Louis C.K. as part of his reason why men have too much power. He should have chosen someone else like fucking. He doesn't talk about
Asia Argento in there though, who is the fucking starter of this whole Me Too movement that fucking fucked like a 17-year-old kid that she knew since he was 7 years old and directed him and has all these Twitter like messages towards him and like literally fucked him and took a picture of them together naked in a bed when he was underage. She had no power in that, huh? Right?
No,
right?
Apparently not.
Oh no. Let's disregard that because, you know, she's a woman and he's not non-binary. It's just a man.
Yeah, it's just a man. Well, so here's the rest of
not
this.
even a man, a fucking kid.
Yeah, he was a kid. Alright, this is the next thing. This is always all at once, too. Men are ridiculously overrepresented in gaming. They're listened to when women are ignored, promoted when women are passed over, lauded for speaking out when women are being called difficult to work with. I don't have anything to prove that at all, but it doesn't seem like it's really being very fair.
I think what he's talking about Ninja.
Oh, jeez.
That Ninja thing was so goddamn stupid.
But that made complete sense to me.
No, it made complete sense. And did you see people like yelling at him on Twitter?
Yeah.
They're like, "Ninja, do you have any idea what you're doing?" He said, "Yeah, I'm making a business decision, and I'm making a decision to where my wife doesn't leave me.
Yeah.
That's what I'm doing." He didn't back down from it a fucking inch.
I'm actually really impressed.
I like him a lot more for that now.
Yeah, I really respect
because
him for that.
all he was saying was, "Yeah, I'm not going to stream with women because I don't want." If I make one comment as a joke, it could be taken as sexual harassment or me flirting and cheating on my wife and all of this other shit. So I'm just not going to fucking deal with it. And that's his decision not to fucking deal with it.
This is important in a second. Alright, I agree with you. Alright, so this is the next point he says. I imagine the same power dynamics apply to cosplay and fan events. I'm sure women are objectified and harassed both verbally and with unwanted physical contact. I'm sure they're spoken over and made to feel unwelcome at events like these. This is a picture of Jessica Negri right now that I pulled up. This is her doing a cosplay of the character Mei. So there's her, Mei from Overwatch. Mm-hmm. Now, this is actual Mei from Overwatch.
I know what Mei looks like.
Okay, well, it's just for clarity. So, this is the character. This is the cosplay. Big old titties out. No titties out. Now, to be fair, she's cosplaying this. She's cosplaying this style of the character, who's like casually dressed and stuff like that. But still, though, his argument about cosplay is that he's upset that women are being objectified, whereas men have all the power. She's literally dressing like this. I'm not saying that she deserves to be harassed, but I'm just saying that when you dress sexually and men are sexual creatures, how can you not be turned into an object when you've got gigantic tits hanging out?
And it's not even... I know what you're trying to say, and how I look at it is that outfit, that's for you to... you're sexualizing yourself. Mm-hmm. You're turning yourself into a sexual object. If she showed up as Mei with the parka no one's gonna be like, yeah, let me see your titties.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, it's a sweet costume. I mean, maybe some people would say, ooh, I bet she's really fucking hot. But whatever. But when you show up, literally, as a character, with just your fucking titties out,
Yeah.
you know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. Do you watch Dave Chappelle?
I used to a while ago, like way back.
Dave Chappelle had this skit about 15 years ago, and he was like, just because I'm dressed this way does not mean that I'm a whore. He's like, that's true. He said, but you're wearing a whore's uniform. He's like, that's like me walking around in a police officer suit, and somebody comes up to me, help, that man stole my purse, and going, just because I'm dressed this way does not mean I'm a police officer. Do you know what I mean?
I exactly
like,
what you mean,
it's,
yeah.
I'm not, once again, I'm not saying she should be harassed, she should be touched, she should be fucking messed with in any way. I'm not saying that at all. But when you go, it's like these free the nipple people. We're trying to desexualize titties. You're making everybody around you hard. You're making people even more fucking pumped up. And is that men's fault? No, that's how they're programmed. There's not a lot you can do to fucking make men not be horny seeing titties.
Yeah.
It's like, did you read this? There's a Cosmo article a couple weeks ago, and it was this girl. She's like 500 pounds, and she stood out in the middle of Times Square or something, and she was wearing a bathing suit to show that she's like fat pride and how people can be beautiful even if they're overweight. And you know what her number one... she was going out there expecting people to harass her for being fat and ugly and shit. Do you know what people are doing?
What?
People are catcalling her like, wow, good looking. Like, ooh, you want to come out on a date sometime? Like, people are catcalling her. So she changed the article from being about people, how they're mean and harass fat people, to people were catcalling me and harassing me because I was naked on the side of the road.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? What?
So she was upset that they weren't harassing her about being
Yes.
overweight?
Yeah. No, she wasn't upset they weren't harassing her for being overweight. She was upset that she was expecting them to harass her for being overweight and not good looking, and instead insinuating that they wanted to have sex with her and that she was good looking. So then she said that they were sexually harassing her for being good looking.
Wow, I actually feel really bad for that woman. Her self-esteem is probably completely horrible. If she expected to be made fun of, but then was still upset when she wasn't, that makes me feel really bad, actually. That's that sucks. Well,
no, it doesn't suck.
That
sucks when you're such a piece of shit human being that you're going out trying to get men in trouble for making fun of you, and instead they do the complete opposite and compliment you, and you make him look even worse for that.
No, I see what you're saying. I say it sucks because that's just her state of mind. Like, she literally can't help but feel that way. That's reinforced by probably a lot of negative shit.
That's like going out there with a Black Lives Matter sign and in a white neighborhood, expecting people to be like, oh, I hate black people and all this shit. Mm-hmm. And instead people are like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, you go girl, Black Lives Matter, and being like, white people need to stop trying to help black people survive.
No, you're absolutely right.
It's so indicative of white men and women to just think that they need to show their support for black people. We don't need
they
your
have
support.
the power. We don't need your power. No, I see what you're saying. It's almost like they're so damaged that they need to be harassed to reinforce their state of mind. Like they can't accept that people will look beyond their whatever, and they need to be harassed. So what I have here, actually, if you're talking about cosplay being sexualized and objective like that, this is a character called Bayonetta.
I love Bayonetta. It's
really big character. I actually never played it before. I heard they're really good, though. Game. So this is a cosplay. It's kind of small. Let me just make it a little bigger. Didn't work. This is a cosplay of a person doing Bayonetta. Now, there's figure A, figure B. What's the difference here between that one and this one here?
Figure A is completely clothed. Figure B is showing off as much possible cleavage she possibly can without her nipples being out.
Yeah. Both people are doing the character, though, but she has chosen to sexualize her breasts and herself, yeah. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand this argument this guy has where it's just like, they're being objectified. It's a choice. That's why I hate the white knight, even though I always say I am, jokingly, but I hate, the neckbeard white knight people because he's trying to say, women are so powerless. You're the exact kind of person you're saying you hate. You're being the powered man who's saying like, "Whoa, look at me! I can see how objectified they are. I'm on this high horse." He's such a fucking like hypocrite about it. Anyway,
all he's doing is going about the same. The men who say, "Wow, nice titties," want the same thing in the end that this motherfucker wants. He's just going about it in an opposite way.
Yeah.
Whereas they say like, "Hey, show me your titties," he's like, "You don't say anything to her. She's stunning and beautiful and brave and better than all of you men. Now, can I go fuck you in the bathroom?"
yeah, exactly. It's like, now, can I see your titties? Yeah. So this is the next part that's really fucked up. He says, "So yes, in the interest of justice, equality, and fairness, men need to be excluded." That's perfectly fine. Trust me, you'll have about 1 billion other opportunities these women won't have.
Like what? Name one opportunity a man has that a woman doesn't have.
Wage jobs, not being touched in the ass. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying things that I've heard before. I don't really know. I really don't know.
Men and women literally have the exact same rights in every way, shape, or form. The Constitution was specifically built to where everybody can be equal. It wasn't implemented in the best of ways, but that doesn't make the document wrong. It makes the way people were trying to implement it wrong. Like, all men are created equal. People are like, well, there were slaves, so that means the Constitution hated slaves, and it was built so that there could be slavery. It's like, no, the Constitution was built that way, and then people just went against it and had slaves. That's not the Constitution. That's not the document's fault. That's the people who were choosing to read it however they felt like reading it. Document did not want slaves. It said everybody's equal, and now everybody is equal. You got your wish. Document. The Constitution is perfectly implemented, except in cases like the Second Amendment, where with like the SAFE Act and shit like that. That's not perfectly. That's not how it was meant to be implemented.
People fight those things. Unconstitutional. It was designed to be flexible. I mean, and you know, back then, where we are today and where we were back in 1760, whatever. Like it's way different now. I mean, look at how far we've come in our country. It's why people like this guy who just get on here with his stupid fucking dumb profile
If
picture.
America was such a horrible place and men had so much power, he would have been executed for saying that. Instead, he goes on there and he gets fucking tens of thousands of likes.
Yeah.
And then people like me and you can sit here and make fun of this fucking dildo. And it's fine. And he can sit up there and he can pretend like we're these fucking racist, homophobic, sexist, fucking misogynists that want all women in cages like we're in the fucking Handmaid's Tale. He can say that, and I can say, this guy's a fucking pussy. And he's literally just trying to get in women's pants in a different way. And he is completely wrong about everything he's saying.
Yeah.
And neither one of us are going to jail for it. Because America's the greatest fucking country in the world. So you can go on. You know how else you know America's a great country? Because he can do this shit. He can say, this is only for women and non-binary people. And it's a private event, so guess what?
No, you're right.
It's his, if that's what his company wants to do, it's their right to be able to do that.
You're right.
And all the power to him. But you know what else is the right of people? To say, oh, I'm not allowing your convention because I have a cock? Fuck you, I'm going to play Dota 2.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Nike has the right to have Colin Kaepernick on their fucking ad campaign now. And people have the right to say, okay, I'm buying Adidas.
Yeah.
That's
You're right.
That's what's beautiful about America. Is he can have his shitty opinion, and I can have my shitty opinion. Nobody... Oh my God. He looks like fucking... He looks like Steve Jobs if Steve Jobs was addicted to fucking SJWs and mescaline.
Yeah. But I agree with you, and the more I talk to you about this too, the more I've come to realize that also. I think when I first kind of got back here, I was kind of drinking the SJW Kool-Aid a bit because of like my relationship and stuff. But now I definitely agree with you that the right of freedom, the right to speak your mind, and the right to hold private events like this and do what you want to do, that I respect their right to do that, even if I think it's complete bullshit. Because I would expect them to have the same respect for me, but they don't. That's the problem. Is that all these social justice types, they would not respect our opinion right now.
In the end, though, they don't have to respect our opinion. There's not jack diddly dick that they can do about our opinion. This fucking theater in LA can hold a women's only Wonder Woman screening. And it's their right to do that. That's fine. I can say, dude, that's fucked up. That's bullshit. Why would you do that? And they can say, fuck you, we're doing it anyway. And they can do that. And I can do whatever I want. I can say, yeah, I'm not gonna go out to dinner or hang out with any other girls, like what Mike Pence said. I'm not gonna go out to dinner or hang out with any other girls because I'm in a committed relationship and I don't want anything to fucking throw a wrench in that. I can do that too. That's my fucking right. Ninja can say I'm not gonna broadcast with any girls because I don't want any fucking conflicts coming up, and he can do that too. Just like they can say men aren't allowed in our booth. And you know what? Who fucking cares? That's just how it works. It's better to have it work this way than to where it's just like fucking capitalism versus Marxism. If you have the freedom to reject people, it's better than having no freedom at all, but everybody is equal. Because when everybody's equal, that means everybody's shit. Mm-hmm. And if not everybody is equal, but they all have... Well, in our country, everybody is equal. We all have the right to fucking... We all have our constitutional rights. And you can't do shit about it. If you're a private company and you want to say, or at least before, if you want to say, we don't want to... We're a Christian company, so we'll give you health insurance, but we're not going to pay for birth control or abortions. We refuse to pay that. You can do that. And if another company says, we're giving out free abortions, you can fucking do that too. Whatever. Do it. And that's what's wonderful about America. Because we can also choose which ones that we want to support. Unlike in other countries where there's only one fucking government-controlled thing, and that's all that you have a fucking choice with.
Yeah. I agree. And,
so, make your shitty opinions, Daniel, and I'll make my shitty opinions. And you can be mad at me, and I'll be mad at you, but in the end, everything is exactly the fucking same. What do you think you accomplished with that? You think people are sitting here like, yeah, fuck women, fuck non-binary people. Oh, at PAX West, they're having an only women in binary booth? I must have been wrong this whole time. Yeah. No, that's just going to make people more pissed off.
And it did. Yeah, it did.
It's going to make people be like, I had no problem with this now, but now I'm starting to see, like, it's like this whole fucking white nationalism thing. It's like, if you call everybody a racist when they're not, that's just going to make more racism.
Yeah.
Because you can say, all these fucking people keep telling me that I'm a racist. You know what? I'll show them a racist. And you fucking throw on a Klan suit.
Or
if you just let people fucking be and just do whatever they want, then nobody cares.
Or it's like there's actually a great video online. PewDiePie did a thing about it recently where this one, I think he's like an older white guy living in LA or somewhere. He basically was working on his truck or something, and this one like older black woman, like, or she's younger than him. He said, "Hey, how you doing today?" And she's like, "Don't you fucking say hi to me." And it's this like 5-minute long video where the guy's just like, "What do you mean? I just wanted to say hello. You're my neighbor." And she was like, "Don't you dare talk down to me like you think you're some better white guy." It's this huge fucking thing. Eventually, she's actually in her car harassing this guy. Like, he's just doing his thing, says hi. She's in her car and she drives away later on. But like, she literally got offended by him saying hi to her, and then turns around and says, "You're racist." And the dude's like, there's other neighbors there who come out because she's yelling so loud. And he's just like, guys, I just said hello. Like, was anybody here to like back me up? Like, I just literally just said hi to her, and she's freaking the fuck out. And her video actually just proves her completely wrong. But it's just, that guy might not.
Well, it's the same thing with the Jordan Peterson thing. Like, the girl who's yelling at Jordan Peterson for not using the pronouns posted it online, expected people to be like, "Yeah, you go, girl, show that white devil who's boss." And instead, everybody watched the video to be like, "Look how fucking awesome Jordan Peterson is."
Yeah.
Like, fuck this bitch. Jordan Peterson's the shit. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's funny. They're so delusional. Like they expect that their video or their post is going to make them seem like the victim, but they just end up being an asshole because
there's no self-awareness now.
Yeah,
there's zero
I agree
self-awareness.
with you. Yeah, I definitely agree with you. This guy can't fucking say hello. If you didn't want him to say hello to you in some crazy universe, just say like, "Oh, hey, I'm busy." Or how about this? Just be a normal fucking human being
And say,
if
"Oh,
someone,
hi, how are
be
you
like,
doing?"
Literally, imagine how many times at work people say hi to me, or I say hi to them. I say, "Hey, how you doing today?" And they say, "Great." Say, "What do you want to get for fucking popcorn?" It doesn't even matter. But it's just being a human being. Don't be just fucking asshole about it. Like, if someone says hi to you, just fucking say hello back. It takes 3 seconds of your day, and you know what? You're not a prick. You can move on. You can even just say, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Put your headphones back on and walk away. You wouldn't be a dickhead even at that point when you literally just blew them off completely. But just fucking say hello. Don't make it a big deal. Stop with all this goddamn societal, cultural bullshit. It's pissing me off. It's pissing me off, dude. Why can't we all just coexist? Everyone's all getting so fucking mad all the time. We're all yelling at each other. We live in the greatest country in the world.
Well, what it is that's what the media and these people want you to think, is that everybody's mad at each other, everybody hates each other, everything's so divided. And really, it's not. No, I know it's not, because we can go to work tomorrow. We can have a white guy show up to our fucking register, a black guy, a transgender woman, a Chinese guy, a non-binary, a fucking furry. All of them will come up, and they're all going to say, "Can I have a large popcorn and butter, please?" And we say, "Yeah, sure thing. How's your day going?" "Pretty good. Do you have a Regal card?" "Oh, yeah, I do. Here you go." It's like, all right, enjoy your movie.
Yeah.
That's how it works. And instead, these little fucking blips on the radar, out of 370 million fucking people in this country, there's a few dickheads and pieces of shit around. And everybody's like, "Oh, look at this piece of shit. Everybody hates each other." It's like, no, this is just one fucking retard. That's all that this is. It's the same thing with that Unite the Right rally that happened in fucking... It's the white supremacist rally that was in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
There's like 10,000 Antifa people waiting. They all had weapons. They were beating the shit out of cops, and they were lighting cars. They were all like literally just vandalizing property, beating the shit out of police and everything, because they were trying to protest these white supremacists. They're expecting like 5,000 of them.
Yeah.
There was 22.
Oh my god.
There was 5 straight days on MSNBC and CNN covering this huge white supremacist rally and these freedom-fighting Antifa people. All they were talking about for days, and then 22 white supremacists showed up.
That's fucking ridiculous.
22. Giving all this media attention to people that you claim to hate. Next year, there's 24 people there, and you give these people all this attention, there's going to be a lot more if you keep giving them this fucking much attention.
Yeah, it's true.
That's how it works, because people want attention. And if you just say, if you're on fucking like NBC News and you're like, "There's a white nationalist movement today," all right, and now back to other news. In Congress, people are going to be like, "Oh, well, that's gross. Fuck those guys."
Yeah.
And then they just go back to doing their thing. Instead, when you're peppering them 5 days straight of fucking... There's a white supremacist rally coming up. There's a white supremacist rally. How do you think Trump's going to feel about this? Do you think Trump is going to be there with a tiki torch and a Jew on fire? Do you think that's going to be what's happening?
Yeah.
When you do that for 5 days, you just make more people want to do it just to troll you.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are a bounty of trolls nowadays. People love to be fucking shitheads online, without a doubt. Yeah, I really want to go back and see at what point in time, like, the left extremists got radicalized and became aggressive and violent.
Well,
when the fuck did they pop up?
All I know is that as soon as I came into like this whole political debate and construction and stuff, like this shit was already going on. As soon as I got into it, this is why I got into it, because I thought it was funny. You know how I got introduced to politics? Milo Yiannopoulos SJW crushing compilations and anti-feminist compilations. That's how I got into it.
Yeah.
Then I realized that Milo's kind of an idiot. And then I was like, well, I saw Ben Shapiro, Rex College Snowflake. I was like, who's this guy? I listened, I was like, wow, this guy's fucking smart. And then I would watch his videos. And then I would realize that half the shit I thought my entire life was wrong, because I was getting my information from fucking Family Guy and Hollywood. And then I would do my own research, and sometimes I'd be like, oh, I still agree with this. I think maybe you're wrong. I still agree with this. And other times I'm like, you know what? You're right. And that's just... I don't remember anything different when everything was completely fine, peachy and fuzzy. Because, like, look at John McCain. Everyone's like, oh, John McCain was one of the great Republican senators. Like, all these fucking Democrats and, like, Huffington Post and fucking Salon and all these people are like, John McCain, say goodbye to the last good Republican senator, blah, blah, all this stuff. And then people are like, it's funny that you talk about how much you love him. It's like, just because he hates Trump. Mm-hmm. But let's go back to when John McCain ran for president against Obama. Yeah. And they were going on and on about how he was a racist piece of shit. Yeah. He was a racist warmonger, piece of shit, fucking hates women and all of this stuff. But no. Now that he doesn't like Trump, they love this guy. Yeah. You know how you got Trump? When you call John McCain and Mitt Romney the worst people in the world, you're going to get someone like Trump. That's how it fucking happens. And then all that shit that you said about Mitt Romney and John McCain, you're going to say the exact same things toward Trump. And it's like the boy who fucking cried wolf. When there is a wolf and you cry wolf, they're gonna think it's just the sheep again.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not gonna get anywhere because you cried wolf so many fucking times. This is how you get this shit. Right?
Yeah, John McCain thing is really interesting because Ethan was talking about on the podcast about how there's a clip of John McCain when he lost the election to Obama. He came out and did a speech, and he said that I lost the election, but I support President Obama. And all the people went like, boo, fuck you. And he said, hold on. I would have been a better president, though, of course. And they're all just like, ha, 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 okay, sure. Like, they kind of just flipped around really quickly on him. And it's just how people are, man. They're so reactionary. They hear one thing and they freak out, which, quite frankly, I'm a hypocrite because I literally read that Daniel Klein tweet and it fucking made me so mad. So, maybe we're all just the same. I just feel like that I stand for better moral grounds than other people do sometimes.
Well, you gotta kind of talk about this shit because, and in one hand, it's like if you talk about it, it gives it attention to more people then do the same thing, expecting attention and shit like that. And it gets their shitty views out. People are like, oh, I think that guy's right. But on the other hand, if you mention it and you crush it and you explain why it's dumb, then maybe you change people's minds that would have thought that way eventually.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it is.
Same thing with fucking guns. If people have guns, they might shoot someone. But also, if people have guns, then they might protect their families from someone shooting at them.
Yeah. Or just shoot for fun or hunt.
Yeah, there you go.
So, I don't know. Alright, man. I think we're almost time to wrap it up here.
What was that? What is...
I'm popping through some things here.
Oh, no.
Some things I was just curious. I was looking up Antifa stuff. I was just curious if you want to talk about the Diablo stuff at all.
Oh, I absolutely fucking do.
Alright, hit it up. This is just a thing from Screen Rant. I don't know if you want to use the computer at all, if you're good.
Alright, you read me something here.
Let's see.
Well, what's the article about?
It says here, according to the website Revenge of the Fans, Netflix is rumored to be planning a Diablo series and has already found their writer. Andrew Cosby, screenwriter for 2019's Hellboy, is said to be attached to the possible project. Along with Hellboy, Cosby has written for the shows Haunted and Eureka. Eureka's actually a really good show, the latter of which he co-created. His experience writing original and adapted works expand beyond Hollywood as the co-founder of Boom Studios, a comic book company.
So, I can't fucking wait for this.
So here's the question. So you played a bunch of Diablo. What would they do with the story of Diablo? Like, how would they make it work?
I think what somebody on Reddit said was, it's gonna be Deckard Cain. Like, this might have been like a joke or something, but it's gonna be like the story about young Deckard Cain. All I know is that it's probably gonna be like anime style, kind of. It like
wouldn't be
anime,
live action
like cartoon. No, it's gonna be a cartoon, I think. Okay. And it would probably be fucking gory and bloody and fucking awesome.
So usually the problem with a lot of like game adaptations is that they have a hard time making the game become a movie. Like Lara Croft, they tried to make it more of like a jumping puzzle kind of thing, less combat-y. Assassin's Creed, from what I heard, was kind of the same thing too, like less fighting, more just kind of jumping around. But a big part of the game though is fighting, so I wonder how they're going to make that work in Diablo.
Well,
Diablo, you just eviscerate thousands of enemies.
If they make it a cartoon, then they're probably just going to go through like the Fields of Misery or fucking the Ramparts and Act 3, and just have it be fucking gruesome. And just like Demon Hunter, Necromancer, fucking all these guys just using all of their fucking powers.
It should be a squad, I think. It should be a four-person squad. Crusader, Witch Doctor, Mage, Hunter.
Necromancer. Demon Hunter would probably have to be in there. And
it's so flashy.
Eviscerate people.
It actually could make a really good anime. You're right, actually. Like not like anime like Japanese anime, but just like animated. It could be a really cool animated thing. Just because like anime combat is so punchy and stuff like that, and it's so like quick paced that it'd work well for that.
Did you watch the Castlevania series on Netflix?
No,
it's like 4 episodes. They're only half an hour apiece, and it's so gory. It's so gory, so action filled, and it's fucking awesome. It's great.
Have you played that Castlevania games at all?
I played all of them.
Is it pretty close to the games?
It's not really like the games. It's about like one of the characters from the games, and he goes around and like you don't. The game, like the movie or the show, I mean, doesn't take place like you run through all of Dracula's castle, like solving puzzles and like finding loot and shit like that. It's basically like it's Richter Belmont, I think, or no, it's Trevor Belmont, and he's trying to protect the city from Dracula. And it, like, he kills so much shit each episode. It's retarded. It's fucking awesome. And I'm hoping the Diablo game or the Diablo show is basically like it just shows a bunch of them. And I don't even care if there's a story. I mean, I hope there's a good story to it.
Yeah.
But if it was just a demon hunter or necromancer, like those guys walking through like the fields of miseries, and all the monsters from the game come out and they just destroy them. There's like the legendary bosses, and they pick up like new loot. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I got the furnace, and they just fucking cut people in half.
That'd be
and
really
shit.
cool, actually.
That would be awesome.
Just like how they could animate some of the the abilities of the people. Like what are some of the ones? I know Arcane's one, right, where they have the little magic orbs that shoot stuff around. I know they have.
Oh, you mean the arcane things where it's like the purple like laser that just spins around?
Yeah. What's because you'd probably know the abilities better than I would. Like,
Well, that's an enemy ability.
Yeah, because like comets.
Well,
one
they
I
would
think,
have
too,
like
and then
rapid fire,
wallers, right?
Sentry, Rain of Death, spinning blades, Call of the Ancients. I mean, like
Are these
blessed hammers.
Oh, but for
Like the bone armor with the necromancer, where
yeah.
he rips the people's fucking bones out and wears it as armor. Like, you could do so much.
I'm actually getting
shit.
kind of hyped to play Diablo again. I'm probably gonna get it on the
You're
Switch.
getting it on the Switch?
I think I will actually.
You want to play it?
Yeah, well, I got these little controllers that work really well actually. Just pop. I'm sure they probably have a mode that you can do with just the one. Maybe.
Oh, I'm sure. No, they must, because I mean, it's not. You don't really need that many buttons for it. You need a lot of buttons for each power, but
Yeah, so you'd have 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe. I don't know. It'd be kind of hard to map it. Maybe not. I mean, I do actually. Well, right now I only have one controller, just that thing. But
maybe you could do it GameCube controllers.
Fuck. I'm probably gonna buy a Switch Pro controller though, just to have it. Cause
I thought you had one.
no,
Oh,
I
it was
had.
shit the bed.
It was the stupid wired one that I bought for like $20. I should have just gotten the Pro one for like $60. I should just bought it. The cheap wired controllers never work out for me. They're always shitty. But no, I mean it'd be really cool to adapt that because you'd have all the enemies and stuff. You can have all the different
All the
like,
classes, the loot
the
system.
loot system would be
I'd
really
like to see
cool.
how they'd put the loot system in the show, like would they
Yeah.
kill people and like scavenge and like find like new weapons and shit,
Yeah.
or would they just have regular weapons, or what?
Well, how would they do it? Like where you uncover the legendaries too? Like you actually have to like hold it down to see it. I wonder how they would make that mechanic too. Maybe you have to like actually run some kind of stone or something over it that actually like uncovers.
Well,
the
what it could
item.
be is like you don't have to like hold X to unveil legendary. Like you can go back to the town and you can use the Book of Cain and like it uncovers it
okay.
for you. So maybe
Yeah,
it was something
yeah.
like they use the town portal and then like Cain like fucking does like some weird witchcrafty thing and then like it becomes like the furnace or like the bombardier's rucksack or fucking the Zunamasa armor set or just something.
Wow,
sweet
you are
like
a
that.
huge Diablo nerd, man.
I fucking love Diablo 3, man. I really would love to play the first and second one because I heard that they're way better, but like I just don't have like why play the first and second one, like buy them on PC and shit. I don't really have that great of a computer to like run games or anything. When I can just fucking sit down with a bunch of my friends and just fucking run through like greater rifts and shit like that.
Yeah, that's why it'd be cool to have it on Switch because it's so portable. And,
You
and
could literally play it out. Imagine playing it at like work on break.
oh god,
That would be
that would be
fucking
really
awesome.
sick. Well, the cool thing about it, you just bring the dock anywhere you go, and then just whoever's got a TV, which everyone has TVs now, just pop the thing in, HDMI in, you're good. Now you got Diablo up on the TV, and it's so much more portable than having to bring over like your Xbox or something like that, or let alone your fucking PC. It would be impossible.
Oh my god, I want to play Diablo so bad right now. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
It's coming out soon too. It's coming out in like October.
I just can't
maybe?
wait for Diablo 4 to come out. I really can't.
If they make Diablo 4 before they make Warcraft 4, I'll be pretty pissed. Warcraft 4 is never going to happen.
I thought it was the same World of Warcraft. They just keep updating it.
Well, like Warcraft 3 is the real-time strategy game where you actually like build units and you can fight people and stuff like that. Build hero characters, so you have like Cairn and all kinds of shit. But they discontinued making real-time because the last RTS they made was StarCraft 2, and that didn't really do very well. They made a bunch of expansions. It did well in the beginning, but it hasn't lasted, and I think that they want more staying power, like Overwatch
Well, they
and
made
stuff.
MOBA too with that Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah,
whatever
Heroes of the
it
Storm.
was.
And I
And
think that's-
Hearthstone.
Hearthstone and Overwatch are huge for them, so they're probably not going to go back to make. I mean, they're remastering Diablo.
Well,
which
they
is
just came
nice,
out with
but...
a new DLC for Warcraft.
Oh yeah, well yeah. So yeah, World of Warcraft they keep pumping out stuff for too. I mean, they have their games right now, which is fine, and I'm glad that they're releasing it for Switch, and maybe at some point they'll work on a new Diablo game. But I'm okay with them just re-releasing it. That's what they did for Skyrim. You know, Bethesda did that a shit ton of times. But they were still working on the next ones after that. So, like, they're working on the Elder Scrolls 6 or whatever right now. Fallout 76 is coming out soon, too, I think, right?
Comes out this winter.
Fuck.
I'm not sold on Fallout 76 yet.
Me either. I'm waiting.
Like, it's weird. It's going to be weird to play, like, a multiplayer Fallout game.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's going to have a story in it, or it's just you walk around and shoot other people. Like,
the best part about Fallout is how, like, desolate it is. Like, how everything's just fucked.
yeah.
You're
Well,
just-
I mean, it would be fun to go through, like, missions and shit, like, multiplayer. That would
Oh,
be
yeah,
fun.
for sure.
But, I mean, that's a game I'm going to wait and see how it pans out before I jump on
Especially
it.
because that
Like
time...
Red Dead 2, I'm all in already.
Mhm.
I didn't have to watch. I haven't even watched the trailer, and I know I'm fucking getting it. When
I
it
still have to
comes
play the
out.
first one, actually.
Dude, what?
I heard it's really good.
It's fucking unbelievable.
Because I loved the campaign modes for GTA 4 and 5.
I don't like Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. Well, I just liked how... Just where you would, like, play a character, and it was like a story, because Rockstar's really good at, like, making stories.
Rockstar's great at story based.
So that's why I like, because you got to play these characters and you got to be the characters, and they'd make shitty decisions, and you'd be like, oh fuck. But it's kind of like you're piloting them, but they're still their own person at the same time. I heard that James Marsden, is that his name? John Marsden. That he's like on like a path to redemption. Obviously, the game's called Red Dead Redemption, but it's like something happens and you kind of
that's
play
in
that character.
in the first one. Yeah, it's his path to redemption.
So it's like it's cool because you're.
This one's a prequel.
I also heard that the DLC, the
Undead Nightmare
was really fun too.
It was pretty sweet.
It was really cool.
Good.
It's kind of like like Nazi zombies, but
zombie Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Pretty much. All right, you wanna wrap up and give our songs?
Yeah, I'd say
All
we're
right.
good to go.
Let's do it.
All right.
What's your song?
My song? I think last time I mentioned a Pink Floyd song too.
You did.
But I kind of want to mention it again. To listen to it again today before you got here is I really want to bring attention to "Nobody Home" by Pink Floyd. Last time I picked "Mother." But
Nobody Home is one of the most underrated songs of all
The
time.
piano introduction for it's really really good. I just like how Roger Waters makes it feel so emotional. It's just like a very like kind of somber piece. I like it a lot. It's really good.
I'm gonna go with "So Long and Thanks for All the Fish" by
that by?
Perfect Circle.
Oh yeah.
It's one of the only songs that and Paradise by the Dashboard Light, which like every time I hear it, it just puts me in a fucking amazing mood.
Mm-hmm.
Every time. I don't know what it is about it. It just puts me in a great mood. And I love fucking Tool, and I love Maynard Keenan, and I love the new Perfect Circle album. And it's just a great fucking song. Settle down, Jackie. All right.
Yeah, sounds great. Well, hopefully everyone enjoyed the podcast today. We talked a lot about Rollerblade 7 for a bit, and it's possible in the future we might do separate Rollerblade 7 / Scott Shaw episodes just to kind of have some fun stuff. But gives us a chance to rant and just kind of riff about a bunch of crazy shit. Really, though, anybody listening to this, you should watch Rollerblade 7. The link is ridiculously hard to find. You're gonna feel like that you're like about to get arrested by the FBI, but I'm still here and I'm okay, so it didn't happen. But definitely should watch it. Scott Shaw is a crazy man, and we're happy to support him.
More than happy to support him. Scott Shaw, if you're listening, let us know. Email us. Message us on YouTube. Message me on Twitter. Anything.
Anything.
Do
Just
it.
please, just do it. Dear God, just please message us. We just want to talk to you.
Even if you just say hi. Or you guys are fobs. I don't care what it is. I just want to hear from you.
I'd be really happy. All right.
All right.
Have a wonderful whatever time of day it is. where you're-
Enjoy your time in between now and when you watch Rollerblade 7, because your life will be different when you do. See you later, guys.
See ya.